Hey guys, hey, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be attempt number 1 on Crooked Mask Expert difficulty. This is fresh off the heels of my victory over Prince of Gluttons. So I have not, if you've been following along my videos, it's actually taken me a really long time to get through the expert difficulties. Both Rageborn and Prince of Gluttons, I believe, took me 8 attempts. However, Queen of Carapaces only took me 1. And that was because, fresh off of Rageborn, I immediately just kept everything exactly the same. Same age, same store, and went up against Carapace Queen with like a really solid combination and took her out first try. So we're going to keep that tradition going, and we're going to do the same thing using the same mages and same store that I used to take down Prince of Gluttons. So the difference on expert difficulty between normal and expert difficulty for Crooked Mask is that from his corruption deck, instead of when you as a player destroy a corruption, instead of returning it to the bottom of the corruption deck, it actually goes into either your or your allies' discard pile. So you effectively can't destroy corruption cards. You can only discard them. And what that means is there's also an additional rule that if the Crooked Mask is supposed to give you a corruption card and the corruption deck is empty, he deals 2 damage directly to Gravehold instead. So that's a very, very real possibility. Again, it's been a long time since I played him on normal, well over a month. So I don't really remember how he plays, except that you like shuffle your decks a lot. So your card, it's very difficult to set up a card turnover where you're going to get these 5 cards in your hand and you're consistently getting proper ether generation pools. Anyway, so we're going with the same thing we used last time. So that's Lash and Zaxos. Lash's special ability allows me to take a player turn order card, shuffle it back into the turn order deck at the cost of 1 life. His unique card gives 1 power, but it can be 2 power if the top card is a player turn order card. Zaxos, his unique card is Flare. It does 3 damage if the top card is a player turn order card, 1 otherwise. The Court Shard, by the way, also lets me take the Nemesis card and put it on the bottom if I choose to. And then Zaxos' special ability grants 4 charges to Lashes, and then allows me to take the turn order deck and reorganize them. So what I can do, effectively, is I can use Lash's ability to give one of them an extra turn, an extra activation, which then shuffles the deck. I can then use Zaxos' ability to reorganize the deck how I choose, and it basically recharges Lash, so I can create another activation again. So it's a nice little combination there. For our store, we took the 2-cost Gem Jade, generates 2 Aether, one of my all-time favorites. We took Vrisswood Amber, it's a 3-cost gem, generates 2 Aether, but you can put this on top of your deck when you gain it instead of the bottom of your discard pile. Also took Sifter's Pearl, it's a 3-cost, 2 Aether generating gem that allows each player to reveal the top card of their deck and then discard it if they so choose. I think this card is going to be crucial. I'm going to try to get all 7 of those to discard corruptions. That's going to be part of my strategy. Then we also have Bottled Vortex, 3-cost. You can destroy this card and then 2 cards, a combination from your hand and discard pile, and it also allows you to draw a card. Mage's Talisman, 5-cost, generates a charge for you and your ally. Always a favorite. Amplify Vision, 4-cost, deals 2 damage as a spell. It focuses your breach with the lowest focus cost, and if all of your breaches are open, it jumps from 2 damage to 3. Ignite, it's another 4-cost spell, also does 2 damage, but it generates a charge for your ally's special ability. And then Essence Theft is a 5-cost spell, deals 3 damage, and you can choose to discard a spell in your hand to give 1 life to you or your ally. And then our final card is Dark Fire, another 5-cost spell. You can discard up to 2 cards, dealing 3 damage for each card discarded. So that's a nice, cheap 6 damage spell, especially if you can get it early. Everything's shuffled, everything's good to go, so we're just going to start. And we start with Lash. We're going to prep Spark, generate 3, 4 power. 4 power. And this Nemesis card I'm going to place on the bottom. And I'm going to buy an Amplify Vision. And we get Lash, or Zaxo, sorry. We're going to prep Flare. He also generates 4 power, and he's also going to buy an Amplify Vision. Zaxos goes again. He's going to cast Flare. It does do 3 damage. So that's first blood on Crooked Mask, dropping him to 67. So I'm going to prep Spark. And he's going to buy a second Amplify Vision. I'm not used to being able to choose my cards. It's really nice. All right. Lash is next. Spark, 1 damage. Bring Crooked Mask to 66. And then he will spend 3 to open his second breach. Prep 2 Sparks. Nemesis is going to go twice in a row now. Burden. The players collectively gain 2 corruption and place them on top of their deck. Any player focuses a breach. So that's just going to be 1 to each. And Zaxos is going to focus his breach because it takes him forever to get his breaches open. And then Nemesis goes again. The player would tempt. The player with the most crystals in hand discards all their crystals. That's going to be Zaxos. So discards all of his crystals. Suffers 3 damage. Okay. Drops him to 7. And gains a card from any supply pile that costs 4 power or less. So I can choose Ignite, Amplify Vision, any of the gems, or a Ball Vortex. I'm going to take another Amplify Vision for him. I really liked having 3 for him last time. Alright. So discarded his 4 crystals, but basically bought him the card he would have bought anyway. So he basically just took 3 damage. Just a roundabout way of getting there. Almost took a Ignite. But it's alright. Alright, we do get Lash first. He's going to cast both Sparks, dealing 2 damage to Crooked Mask. Prep Amplify Vision. He's going to generate 3, 4 power. Nemesis card is going to go on the bottom. And he will buy the last Amplify Vision. So that's 2 for Lash, 3 for Zaxos. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you do have a Corruption card, which will activate at the beginning of his next turn, which is now. So this activates before your casting phase. Gravefold suffers 3 damage, gain 2 life, destroy this. So Gravefold takes 3 damage, right to 27. Gain 2 life doesn't do anything because Lash has full health, and it gets destroyed. It does not go back into the corruption pile. However, I can choose to put it into Zaxos' pile, and I will, so that it can heal him, potentially. Oh, sorry, that's just the start of his turn. So we will then cast Amplify Vision. It's going to focus our 3rd breach and do 2 damage to Crooked Mask. Bring him to 62. We'll then prep Spark and 3 power. We'll buy us a Sifter's Pearl. Next turn is going to be Zaxos. Cast Spark for 1. On Crooked Mask, prep Amplify Vision. Hold on a sec, my dog's barking or growling at something in the street. All clear. All clear. Okay. Nemesis card. Let's see what we get. Corruptor. So I got the Crooked Mask cards all in a row. When this minion suffers damage, the player dealt that damage gains a corruption and places it on top of their deck. Ugh. Does 1 damage to Graveful per turn. So I want to take him out in 1 shot. That means I need to get a Dark Fire as soon as possible. Not great. Okay. Zaxos is going to cast Amplify Vision. He is not going to attack the Corruptor. He's going to attack Crooked Mask. Bring him to 59. I'll focus this third. Oh, I don't get to do that first. Sorry. Suffer 2 damage. Place a gem from the least expensive gem supply pile and place it in your hand. So he takes 2 damage, brings him to 5 life. And that allows him to take a Jade, put it directly into his hand, and then destroy this. I think I'm going to hold on to that because he's the one who had the healing ability as well. Okay. So the Amplify Vision did focus the second breach, so I'm going to prep Flare and another Amplify Vision. And then he generates 4 power. And with that 4 power, he's going to buy an Ignite. Nemesis goes again. Gravehold takes 1 damage from the Corruptor. And then draws a card. Banesire. 6 life. Unleash. So I need to get rid of... Okay. Oh, so that's what it is. Whenever I unleash, I gain a corruption card, but I also shuffle my deck for one of the players. So unleashes are bad. Screws up all your card order, and you end up. It's a very, very. So, although to be fair, I didn't get to pick my cards last time. When I defeated him on normal, so I was playing with random mages with randomizers, and then he was shuffling everything, so I felt very at the mercy of the cards. I didn't have a lot of control. I just kind of played the best I could with the hand I was dealt. Huh, that's not good. Okay, Nemesis. Corruptor does 1 damage to Gravehold, then we get an Unleash. Lash is going to take a Corruptor. I don't know if I still have to shuffle it, because there's no discard pile. I guess I will, just in the spirit of things. It shuffles the discard pile into their deck. I think you're supposed to err on the side of making it more difficult for yourself. I think is the general rule. I'll just do that. Oh, and then I still draw a card from Nemesis. Agony Field. Power 2, Unleash. Any player discards 3 cards in hand and then draws 1 card. To discard, destroy a card in hand that costs 2 or more power. Power 2. All right. Zaxos is going to go. Flare is going to do 3 damage. Amplify Vision is going to do 2, so that's 5 damage. We're going to deal that all to the Banesire, dropping him to 1. That's going to focus that second breach. And we are going to spend 5 on a Darkfire. So there is a corruption card coming up. All right, Lash is going to come up first. He's going to cast Spark and kill the main sire. He's then going to prep Amplify Vision and a Spark. And he generates 2 power. With that 2 power, he will buy a Jade. And just hold on to that last Spark. And then he does get to go again. Amplify Vision and Spark are going to combine for 3 damage. Focus that third breach. That is going to go directly to Crooked Mask, bringing him from 59, 56. We will prep Spark, and he generates 5 power. Sifter's Pearl, I'll have both characters to reveal the top card. Sweet. I got to discard a Corruption card. And he still generates 5 power, and he buys a Darkfire. Good. And he has a Corruption card as well. That was next turn. Okay, Zaxos. So we do have Endless Hugger. Gravehold takes 3 damage. Brings us to 22. But I gain 2 life. Alright. He's going to prep Amplify Vision. He also has Amplify Vision and a Spark. He can't do anything with those. He will just get rid of the crystal. And Nemesis' turn. Corruptor does 1 damage to Gravehold, bring it to 21. Take a charge off Agony Field. And draw a card. Haze Spewer. Minion, 5 life. Gravehold suffers damage equal to this minion's life. And then this minion takes 1 damage. So this is the thing I kind of forgot. It's like the corruption cards and a lot of Crooked Mask's abilities. They all have a downside and a benefit usually. So it's all kind of all over the place. Nemesis again. So that's 1 damage from the Corruptor. Agony Field's gonna activate unless I choose to discard it. Unleash. Okay. I will destroy this Ignite. No, I'll destroy this Jade. This Jade over here is going to be destroyed, and that discards the Agony Field. But Haze Spewer does activate and does 5 damage to Gravehold, bring it to 15. So that's not good. I do not have Focusing Orbs in this game, which you would normally use to heal Gravehold. But it does bring Haze Spewer to 4 life. But we get another card. Discard the top 2 cards of the Nemesis deck. For each Tier 3 Nemesis card discarded this way, Gravehold suffers 4 damage. These are both Tier 2, but that advances us a full round quicker to Tier 3 cards. Man. Okay. Lash first. Start with Contagion. Suffer 1 damage. Brings us to 9. Return any card that costs 0 from your discard pile to your hand and destroy this. I don't have any, so it just goes there. We will cast Spark for 1 to Haze Spewer. And we'll prep Amplify Vision and Spark. And the Lost Crystal is just wasted. Okay, get to go again. Amplify Vision and Spark are going to combine for 3 damage, killing the Haze Spewer. So that's good. That also focuses that third breach. So that is going to be opened on its next focus. And we will prep Amplify Vision and Spark. And I generate 3 4 power. And with that 4 power, I will buy an Ignite. There we go. There's my Darkfire. Get rid of that Corruptor. All right, and we get Zaxos first. We're going to cast Amplify Vision. It's finally going to open that second breach and deal 2 damage to Crooked Mask. We will then prep Amplify Vision and Spark, and then we generate 2 power to buy a Jade. Last Spark just gets held to the next turn. And he gets a Darkfire as well. Nemesis goes next. That's going to do 1 damage to Gravehold. And we get Venomite. Minion, 9 life. Deals 2 damage to the player with the lowest life. Or you can discard a prep spell worth 3 or more. And we get Zaxos. Amplify Vision and Ignite are going to combine for 4 damage to the Venomite. That's going to focus his 3rd breach and provide the first charge of the game for Lash. We'll then prep Darkfire, Amplify Vision, and Flare. And he generates 2 power, buys another Jade. Not horrible. I don't know if this is the way I would go with this. Bottle Vortex doesn't really seem to make sense to me. Do I want to curate my... This is like the only boss where you don't want to curate your deck and have, you know, these felt tight decks. You kind of want fat cards because you want to keep those corruptions far away. And the shuffling actually allows you to kind of get access to some of your cards, maybe, like if you're lucky, more often than you normally would. I feel like this would be a good nemesis for Kadir because she can pull spells out of her discard pile. So like you could like buy a couple Essence Thefts or Darkfires, right? Place them in your discard pile, and right before you go in to shuffle them, use your special ability to pull them out, and then throw them right back, and then prep them, and then pull over, and then you throw them right back in, and then you can pull them out again using her special ability. So she would be a good way to get consistent damage. I may do that if this takes, depending on how many tries this takes me. All right, we do start with Crooked Mask again. So that's 1 damage from the Corruptor. And we will discard an Amplified Vision off Zaxos to negate the Venomite. Then we draw a card, unleash twice. The player with the most prep spells discards their most expensive prep spell. So we're going to discard Amplify Vision and unleash. Each player will gain a corruption and then shuffles. So I'm very excited if I can beat this guy. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen this game. Gravehold's got pretty low life. Although I don't feel bad about how this game's going. As soon as I defeat this Crooked Mask, that is it for the starter set for this edition of the game. So I will then transition to I have an expansion. It has 2 more Nemesises, and 1 more Mage, I believe, and several, 8 or 9 new store cards, mixture of spells, relics, and gems. So I will try to play. I will go back to normal mode for those nemesis and play with randomizers, but I will play using all the new cards and the new mage. And then I'll randomize everything else. And I'm excited to get some new content. This has been fun, but I've played probably 30 games, maybe 35 of this, and there's only 4 bosses and 8 characters. So I've gone through pretty much all of it pretty well. Gives you that idea of how much content you get out of these games. I say 30, 35 plays is about right. I mean, that's plenty. I'll probably end up closer to 40. By the time all is said and done, by the time I defeat this guy. So, yeah. It's all good. All right. We are going to start with Darkfire. And we are going to discard a Spark and a Crystal. And that's going to do 6 damage, killing the Corruptor. Because I killed the Corruptor, I gain a Corruption card. And then Flare is going to do 3 damage to the Venomite. Bring him to 2. And then generate 3 power. Sifter's Pearl. On his next hand, he will have a Corruption card. And he does get to go again. Suffer 1 damage, gain 1 charge. And I'm going to give that to Lash. That's better for him. We are then going to prep 2 Amplify Visions. I'm going to use the Jade to buy another Jade. And we'll hold on to the Ignite. Another Corruption card. Okay, Nemesis. Yeah. I'll discard. I don't want the damage right now. And we get a new card, Minion. 11 life, Pain Sower. Any player suffers 2 damage, a different player focuses a breach. There's no way to prevent that, but that's not gives you a benefit plus damage. So I'd rather take 2 damage from him than the Venomite. Okay. And Spark is going to do 1 damage to the Venomite. We'll then prep Darkfire. We're going to generate 5 power, and they both get to reveal. And he will discard, he will not. And with that 5 power, he's going to buy Essence Theft. Yeah, I don't think I would definitely swap out the Ball of Vortex for a Focusing Orb. I don't see any point to the Ball of Vortex, really. Okay, Lash gets to go again. We start with Contagion, suffer 1 damage. Return any card that costs 0 to your hand. Okay. And we will start with Darkfire. And we will discard 2 crystals with it. And it's going to do 6 damage to the Pain Sower. Bring him to 5. We will then prep Amplify Vision. And generate 2 power. 3, depending how this... Yep, 3 power. And he will buy the Sifter's Pearl. Sifter's Pearl, definitely a good card for Crooked Mask. Alright. Fever of War, suffer 1 damage, deal 2 damage. Destroy this. Okay. Let's take 1. I'm going to have him keep that. That 2 damage is going to destroy the Venomite. And then he's going to cast Amplify Vision for another 2 damage to the Pain Sower. Dropping him to 3. And that opens the 3rd breach. Just in time for me to prep. Amplify Vision, Ignite, and Spark. And the last crystal is discarded. My back's starting to hurt. Okay, and we get to go again. So this Amplify Vision does 3 damage, and we will use that to destroy the Pain Sower. That also focuses our 4th Breach. Ignite and Spark together are going to deal 3 damage to Crooked Mask. Yeah, this camera angle is a little weird for me, the way I have to move around it. Kind of hurts my back a little. Alright, and that generates another charge for Zaxos. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to do this first. Suffer 1 damage, gain 1 charge. And then we prep Essence Stuff and 2 Sparks. And Sifter's Pearl allows them each to look and discard. They do. And he generates 2 power. And he buys a Jade. Nemesis next. Thing on the board. Twisting Madness. Discard 4 cards in hand and draw 1 card. Power 2. Gravehold gains 3 life. Crooked Mask gains 13 life. I don't like that. That would put him near full. I'm going to just discard the 4 cards. Because I don't see any reason why I can't discard the Corruption card. And so we're going to do that. Okay. And Zaxos. Amplify. Oh, no. Got to go do the Corruption first. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Brings us to 10. Gain 2 life. Heals him to 8. He will hold on to that. Then we will cast Amplify Vision for 2 damage. Bring Crooked Mask to 49. That focuses the 3rd Breach. So overall, Blash has 6 life, Zaxos has 8. That's decent. They each have a Dark Fire, so I'm starting to get some damage. Gravehold took way too much early on, so I don't think I can survive that without Focusing Orbs. And I don't have any Mage's Talisman, so I don't know how good of a charge generation I can really get, because I did buy a bunch of Jades and some Sifter's Pearls, but none of these gems are, generating 3 Aether. So I don't particularly see me winning this game. Giving myself maybe like a 30% chance. Ignite, Amplify Vision prepped, and generate 3 power for Sifter's Pearl. I just don't have the power generation. I'm not going to be able to discard some of those tier 3 cards that are coming up pretty soon. And I can't buy Essence Stuffs or Dark Fires. I'm just not getting 5 power. Oh, 2 Corruption cards. That'll be interesting. All right, and here we go. Discard 2 non-corruption cards. Suffer 2 damage. Shuffle any player's turn order card into the turn order deck. That's nice. I can do these in any order. Suffer 2 damage. Place a gem from the least expensive supply pile into your hand. Destroy this. So this makes me take 4 damage. 2. Bring me from 8 to 4. I acquire a Jade. And it lets me shuffle a turn order card back into the deck, which is good. I will do him. I'm not really looking, so I don't remember which one's which now. Okay. He will cast Ignite and Amplify Vision. These are worth 4 damage. This will focus his 3rd Breach. The 4 damage is going to bring him to 45. And it generates a charge for Lash. I really need to get that ability up and going. We're going to prep Dark Fire. And he generates 5 power. Whew. Yeah. Essence Stuffed. Nemesis first. Nothing on the board. Unleash twice and Greyfield suffers 3 damage. I don't want to do that. Or place the most recently discarded minion back into play. That's the Pain Sower. So he will come back. 11 life. Deals 2 damage. Focuses a breach. Okay. And we get Zaxos first. He's going to cast Darkfire, discarding 2 crystals for 6 damage to the Pain Sower. Bring him to 5 life. He will prep, Flare, and Spark, and he generates 2 power. That allows them each to discard, and they both will. And he will use the 2 power to purchase a charge. I would feel pretty good about where I'm at. I don't like the 2 corruption cards. They're going to kill Zaxos. And I don't like the 10 life in Greyfold. I really don't like that. That's not enough. If I was like 17, I would say, okay, maybe I got a shot. But I feel like tier 3 cards are coming really, really soon. And once those happen in expert difficulty, you just drop. Okay. Do get Zaxos first. So Flare is going to do 3 damage. Spark is going to do 1. That's going to do 4 damage to the Pain Sower, leaving him with 1 life. We will prep Amplify Vision, and he generates 6 power. Man. Do I go for charges? No, I go for Darkfire. I need damage to have a shot. My late game damage is not there in this. And he goes again. Amplify Vision, 2 damage, kills the Pain Sower. And opens the 3rd breach, so that's good. I also have Endless Hunger. Greyfold suffers 3 damage, drops it to 7. That's not good. But it does heal 2 to Zaxos. He will then prep Amplify Vision to the 3rd breach, and he generates 4/5 power. And each player can choose to discard. He will, yeah, I'll discard that too. It's not. And 5 power. Essence Theft. So I do like the damage cards in Zaxos' deck now, but look at this thing. Look at how thick that is. I mean, there's my 4 damage that I take right there. Nemesis first. Sunder. Greyfold suffers 4 damage, and the player with the lowest life suffers 4 damage. I don't want to do that. Or shuffle all the Nemesis Turn Order cards back into the Turn Order deck. We're going to do that. Which basically just skips that card. That was a tier 3 card, however. That's the first one. So we are in tier 3. Good chance I do not survive this round. Nemesis goes. Obliterate. Unleash twice. The player with the most open breaches destroys 4 cards in hand. Interesting. Or suffers 4 damage. Okay. I'm going to destroy these 2, which just discards them. Amplify Vision and Ignite. He also unleashes twice. So both those the unleash twice actually happens first. I'm going to do corruption card for each of them. And then these 2 go here. So these get shuffled first. So that let me skip those 2, which is nice. Although one of them would have given me an extra activation. Holy crap, this is a fat deck. But I'm hoping that this shuffle lets me get those Essence Thefts and Dark Fires near the top. Because Essence Stuffs are, they're 4 damage and 3rd breach. They're not bad. Well, I need 5 Essence Stuffs in the 3rd breach would be 20 damage. 4 Dark Fires in any breach would be 24. So that'd be 44. Get them down to 1 life. I don't know. Could be worse. Alright, we're going to start with Lash. So 2 Sparks for 2 damage. Essence Stuff is going to do 4, so that's 6 damage. And I may discard for 1 life. I will not. But that 6 damage is going to bring Crooked Mask to 39. So it's something. We're going to prep a Dark Fire. Sifter's Pearl gives 2 power. And I will use that 2 power to buy a charge. Oh god, 3 corruption cards. Nemesis goes. Tier 3. 2 different players each gain 2 corruptions and place them on top of their deck. Each player then loses 1 life. So 1 life's not a big deal, but 1, 2, 1, and because there's no more corruption cards, that's 2 damage to Greyfold. Whew. So I'm about to lose the game. Alright, Lash is going first. 3 corruption cards. Suffer 1 damage. Deal 2 damage. Gain a spell from... Oh, this one kills me. These 2 aren't a big deal, but this one is gain a spell from any spell pile. So I grab like a Dark Fire, for example. But gain 3 corruptions and place them on top of your deck. There's no more corruptions. So gaining 3 corruptions does 6 damage to Greyfold. That is game over. Lessons learned. I don't know. This is tough. I don't know how much I like these 2 mages' special abilities. I didn't even get to use them. It's, like it said, it's very hard to kind of control your charges and what cards you're getting with Crooked Mask, because there's so much shuffling and there's so many extra cards that when you buy cards, they just they take forever to come up. So like a Mage's Talisman probably isn't worth it because you're going to buy it, but then you're not going to see it for a really long time. So it doesn't even pay for itself the first time you use it. So you're probably better off just buying charges than using Mage's Talisman. Ball Vortex is also not very useful because you can't destroy corruption cards. And there's not really so since corruption cards just stay in your deck, destroying your... So I guess you destroy your starter cards would just make these corruption cards pop up more often. So I guess the argument for that is if you consider that the corruption cards are just going to be part of your deck and you're going to have to try to balance out the negatives with the positives. So a lot of them cause you to take damage, right? So maybe Essence Thefts are definitely great. Swifter's Pearls, definitely great. Maybe I want to take Brahma and just kind of tank the damage as much as I can and still curate my decks. Maybe that's the way to go. Because, Dark Fires and things like that, you can't discard corruption cards, and they lower the amount of available cards in your hand. So cards that discard are also not particularly useful. You still want Sifter's Pearls, you still want Essence Thefts. I think you want to rely on your special abilities too. So maybe something like Brahma and Kadir, like max out on healing. And then, curate your decks so that you can get rid of all those sparks and crystals. That sounds like a decent way to go. because I'm not even sure that having the extra activations from Lash would really benefit you. I mean, you are always in a race to kind of kill the big bad before you get too far into the tier 3 Nemesis cards, but I'm just thinking out loud. So I'll probably swap out Darkfire for maybe like Planar Insight, and then maybe so maybe like Jade, Sifter's Pearl, and then Ruby. Ruby's to help get some of the more expensive cards, and then do Focusing Orb and I don't know, Unstable Prism maybe. Yeah, that sounds good. In which case, I could probably get rid of. No, I still want Sifters. Yeah, so I'll give that a shot and let you guys know. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by and enjoying the show. Yeah, have a great one. Bye-bye.